From your flawless, sharp-edged corners, you cannot see. Oh, your highlighted fun gas tank that brings me a squeaky, annoying voice to annoy neighbors. Or your floor, bringing a screaming cacophony, a welcoming creaks like a grandma house as it makes a creaking in the dark. Causes a familiar feel to comfort me or just... Oh, your stuffed corners of motleyiness gives me a quest for treasure. To your helping kind wall that protects me from the concoction of the weakened cacophony. As your beautiful pictures of all my adventures gets me closer to you as it calms me. And oh, your magnificent accessories remind me of our past holidays, and has showed me how to adore, for the scent of you gives me joy, because of the sense of Christmas and Halloween for me to enjoy. And you are the place for my choice, to be the hideout, to help me run from the world. Oh, why don't you tell me of the kids that once dwelled in your small walled corners, and were thought to be gone until they pass out in the morning and awake again to play once again.
Object is Artifacts by Hannah Hardman. Snow swirled around me as I crouched down to the cracked Arctic floor, my trembling fingers sweeping over the fossil embedded beneath the surface of the crystal blue ice. Stormy clouds thundered low overhead, melting and shrouding me in an icy blanket of drifting snow. My frozen fingers stinging from the cold, I gently clawed at the ice, determined to touch the beautiful fossil. The bones were right below my fingers, and yet I couldn't touch it. It seemed so hopelessly far from my reach. Hey, try giving the fossil a rest. Footsteps faintly tapped up behind me. Annoyed from being disturbed, I turned and uneasily rose to my feet. I found myself staring at my brother, the harsh winter breeze tugging at his soft hazel hair. He wrapped his arms around his waist to keep himself warm. His gray coat was flecked with crisp white snow. I've been working on this thing for months now, I mumbled. I can't just give up on it. He paced over and stared down at the slender fossil beneath his feet. Pretty cool fossil. I nodded and crouched down again. It didn't seem right to stand on something so precious. I've never seen something like this one. He crouched down beside me and swept his hand tentatively over the skeleton. This really is impressive. You found yourself quite the fossil. My hazel eyes fell on the bones, which is why I need to get it out of the ice. I couldn't handle just leaving here knowing I didn't chip it out of the ice. My brother, his eyes staring into mine sadly, got up with a sigh. Karsten, I began hesitantly, just listen to me. You came with here, right? Then help me. He rolled his hazel eyes. Why do you do this to me, Keaton? I tried to hold back a smile, but my lips wouldn't cooperate. So you're gonna help me? He crouched down on his knees and traced his fingers along the fossil. Yeah, whatever. I smiled, my eyes locked on the skeleton as I began chipping away at the ice. Karsten's hair tickled my cheek as we huddled together to examine the embedded fossil. Hey man, check this out. Karsten poked his finger on the surface of the ice, just inches away from the fossil's skull. What is that? I strained my eyes to see through the ice. My eyes settled on an object so blurred I can only make out its circular form. What is that? I stared at Karsten, my eyebrows creased into a deep frown. Karsten ignored my question as he traced his finger along its shape. It's definitely not even related to the fossil. I narrowed my eyes. It looked colorful, for instance, with a distinct shape of my cell phone. Subconsciously, I glanced out of my wrist and tapped my watch. My phone sprung into the air, projecting a gentle blue light that streamed across the fossil. It levitated, swirling and floating into the drifting snow. I sighed. I could tell no amount of technology was going to help me with dragging this fossil back from the blue ice. As I doubtfully reached up to snatch my phone out of the air, it suddenly blasted a harsh stream of icy blue at the embedded fossil, cracking the ice in half. The fossil now lay displayed in the open winter air, snow sticking to its pure white bones. I fell over with excitement and scrambled anxiously over to the fossil. My phone shut off its harsh blue light and gently floated back down into my palm. I shoved it deep into my pocket and attacked the skeleton before me. I love technology, I cried happily as I pulled the gun gently from the ice. My soul buzzed against my thigh. Glad I can make you happy, Keaton, I replied in its unique, robotic voice. My fingers trembled as I struggled to pull the fossil from the ice. I felt like any minute my clumsy fingers would totally break the fossil's dainty bones. Karsten raised an eyebrow. Hey, take it slow, you might drop it. He took the disarranged fossil from my trembling hands and examined them himself. I tried not to get too annoyed by that. His eyes fell to the fossil's cracked ribcage. Whoa, what is that? What? I struggled to peek over his shoulder at the fossil cradle in his hands. "Don't touch it," he advised cautiously, and he slowly displayed it in his palms. I caught my breath, gently tracing my fingertips along the rib's surface. But it wasn't the fossil itself that made my hazel eyes widen with total shock. It was the strange object embedded inside. Cautiously, I poked my fingers through the rib skeletons.